chop all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night Starcraft.
vVv Gaming. Missile turrets, and they get those siege tanks, the marines, maybe even a Thor or two if their Zerg opponent goes for Mutalisks. It can be a very tough spot, and then they can just, so we'll see how Kengyn gonna play this one in the early going. Imagine he will go for a fast expansion, and Murder actually might go for a fast expansion himself.
Yeah, so we have Murder spawning on the top left-hand side of the map as the purple Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Kengyn spawning, is that how you say it? Kengyn spawning as the light blue or cyan Zerg player over here on the top right-hand side. This Overlord will be able to just simply fly across this gap and quickly see his opponent, and we should probably see a follow-up drone as well. Now, there are a number of options on this map. Are you expecting, say, a hatchery before spawning pool, or do you think that Kengyn's going to try to go for the earlier map control with the speedlings?
I'd expect the hatch first on this map. It can be safe depending on when you get your gas, when you get your speed, and it all comes down to scouting your opponent, seeing whether they're going to throw up 1 racks or 2. It looks like Murder already putting up that supply depot in an interesting position here, spreading out these supply depots and buildings, going to make sure that he actually sees that that Overlord, and that's a brilliant play by Murder. A lot of Zerg players, the Overlord has a bigger sight than the SCVs, than the mineral line there for Murder, so a lot of smart Zerg players will micro that Overlord as he does move into position here and spot the Terran player and then pull back so that Murder can't see him. But with this supply depot positioning, I can't imagine that Kengyn is going to expect the supply depot, and I imagine he will give away his position here, as he will right now, checking Murder's sight. He's going to see this Overlord, so he knows exactly where to scout.
Yeah, so that is going to be really nicely done, and we'll see what Murder does with these barracks. Murder did not build the barracks next to his ramp, so one of the benefits of Shakura's Plateau for a Terran player, if you are trying to go for a double racks Marines, is you can lift them off and land them, but that's obviously not the case as we are getting a refinery into play here, so it is not going to be double Marine pressure. So it may go back to that tech lab with Reaper in order to try to get some early pressure and try to get some damage onto Kengyn's early hatchery.
I was so excited about that supply depot placement too, and then Murder went and ruined it by scouting the wrong direction. I guess he didn't notice that Overlord and did not get to Kengyn's base with his initial scout there. It's going to be the second position he scouted, so he's going to see the hatch, going to see the pool about 75% of the way done, and the gas is going up as well, so Kengyn's going to be able to get out that speed. And as you mentioned, we see the tech lab coming out, and here comes the Reaper from Murder, so now he's going to be able to get us some secondary scouting with that Reaper, hopefully a drone kill or two, as we see the gas now finishing for Kengyn, going to do a transfer there, and opening pretty standard for the Zerg at the moment.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the Reapers can actually get that much damage at all. The Queen's already coming out, and it should be able to get into the backside over there pretty easily. We are also getting a Roach Warren as well, so Kengyn going to be able to easily take back that Reaper, and now perhaps not knowing that Murder likes more bio play, I can't imagine that Murder would try to go for a Blue Flame Hellions on this map. As the Reaper now makes its way out, it will be able to do a little bit more scouting, but pretty much only see the Roach Warren before it has to escape, as that Queen is now out and about.
Well, this Roach Warren could be for some sort of timing push, all in by the Zerg player. So often on this map we see Terrans and Protoss as the Reaper moving in here, getting 2 drone kills. A nice job as the Queen does its best to fend it off. Might get 1 more drone kill, and there's 3 drone kills, 4 drone kills for that Reaper, so definitely worth it. And the Reapers might escape here, gets off creep, Queen can be very slow, and that Reaper will live to fight another day. And now he's going to see the Roaches, get good information here. As I was mentioning, the Roach Warren might actually be for some early pressure. We see Terrans go for greedy expansions here to try to mirror their Zerg player and get on equal bases, which is basically a base ahead in this matchup. So Roach is being pushed out across the field for Kengyn at the moment.
Yeah, we are getting some Marauders as well, but I do not see the concussive shells. No, the concussive shells are not being researched, so those Roaches are going to be able to close in. And even though they have less of a range, because the Roaches are going to have superior numbers, this is going to be a problem, as a bunker is not going to be able to finish in time. And wow, that bunker with 7 seconds to go, SCV going to get taken down, and Murder now just trying to retreat back with that 1 command center there. And now the Roaches trying to use their superior or their inferior range and only go after the bunkers and the supply depots. 1 Marauder, 2 Marines against 3 Roaches. This is not looking good.
Well, I definitely like the reaction by Murder. He quickly threw up that supply depot and that bunker to wall off. He actually finished the command center and lifted it off, so wouldn't be in trouble at all. And so far it looks like he's going to be able to defend against this push. He can cancel that bunker before the Roaches of Kenjyn do take it down, and he will do just that. So not losing too much. Kenjyn going to pull back with a few wounded Roaches. Their Pride's probably wounded a little bit as well, as just a few Marauders and Marines able to fend them off. And now Murder's going to be able to get up this second base, as we see no follow-up here for Kenjyn. A smart play would have been to get speed for Zerglings and start streaming in some Zerglings to support these Roaches, but I'm not sure he had the gas and the timing to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that Kenjyn really wanted to try to win with that particular push. He just wanted to keep Murder a little bit more honest, perhaps get some damage, try to go for an advantage of some sort. I don't think he got an advantage at all, but he does have, he does have superior drone forces. 35 drones compared to 23 SCVs. There are Roaches in the center of the map, but apparently they have not started running just quite yet. And trying to run away from a Marauder with concussive shell is always a painful experience.
And this could be difficult for Kenjyn to actually defend. He's just got the 1 Roach about to go down. He's got a few Lings on the way. Now more Lings as a few larvae do pop out of those eggs. 20 Lings will be able to take down the forces of Murder here, as we see Murder pushing up into the natural. Going to try to focus down a few units. The Lings pulling back. Very smart.
Yeah, very smart there, but the Marines and now using the stutter step as the Queens now trying to come back in as well. The drones coming off the mineral line as well. The Queens cannot get too far off, and the Queens have to be very careful as well. If you lose the Queen, you lose a lot of your production. More Zerglings now swarming in. The Marauders and the Marines trying to just do that very, very dangerous dance, trying to get every ounce of health off of those Marauders, but the Zerglings able to clean it up, as we are now going into Spire Tech. So a Spire Tech definitely coming into play. We are running off of 4 gas, and Kenjyn ignoring his minerals at this time in order to get a stronger and stronger gas, and with no missile turrets, this may be an issue.
Yeah, and looks like Murder reacted to those Roaches with some Marauders as well, so if his Marine count is light, he may not be able to take on the Mutalisks, but he will be pushing across now. Stim has finished, so Murder going to have a decent group of Marines and Marauders, and we see more Banelings and Zerglings on the way, and I like that initial push out by Murder, just feeling out a Zerg opponent, forcing Kenjyn to create the Zerglings, and now we see more and more Zerglings on the way as Kenjyn does have wind of this, and we'll see who's able to take on the or take the best in this encounter.
Yeah, it's going to be a perfect timing, as the Banelings do not have movement speed just quite yet. The Marauders and the Marines, though, have to be very careful. They do not want to try to engage on creep, as those Banelings do have significant movement, and down goes a group of 4 to 5 Marines there. As the Queen also joining in on the fight, Banelings are getting splashed around, and there's only Marauders left, meaning the Zerglings are going to come in and just simply clean up the rest of these Marauders here. And it's going to be about a decent trade for Kenjyn, as the Marauders and the Marines are once again in full retreat.
Yeah, some missed micro there by Murder, losing a few of those Marines, or large groups of Marines, to those Banelings. Could have kept kiting and try to focus them down, use those Marauders out in front to tank a little bit of damage from those Banelings, but instead that attack was thwarted, and now we see that Mutalisks will be coming out for Kenjyn, as he is going to be making his way over into the base of his Terran opponent, and again, as you mentioned, no missile turrets are down. Finally, the engineering bay is up, so he could react, but he's got no clue that this Spire is out, and it looks like Kenjyn pulling back with these Mutalisks. As more and more pressure coming from Murder, he might actually have to use the Mutalisks to defend.
The Mutalisks trying to do a very dangerous dance, trying to figure out where to go, and it looks like they're actually going to run into the base now. And a good offense, the best defense apparently, as the Marines and the Marauders are going to be forced to run back all the way home, stopping a lot of mining during this process here. The Marines, I'm not quite sure where to go. They're finally in the middle portion of the map, and the Mutalisks going to clean up multiple SCVs. The Mutalisks could perhaps be going after higher profile targets, and they're now going to clean up some Marines as they are trying to be rallied straight in, but there's not enough of them to deal with it, and Murder is still with a decent group of units now making their way and trying to walk up the ramp there. There are some Banelings and some Zerglings, and here comes the counterattack.
Yeah, it looks like Murder going to try to push his way up in here and do as much damage as he can, saying that it's not worth to try to defend against those Mutalisks. And now, not really sure where those Banelings went, but they need to get in here and try to take down these Marines as they're doing huge damage to the economy. Here come a few Banelings, able to focus that down nicely, not losing too many units, and now Murder doing a huge amount of damage. And it looks like he's going to be in a bit of a base trade as the Mutalisks just focusing down more and more Marines in the main of Murder at the same time as Murder does take down the natural of Kengyn. Kengyn pulling back at the moment. If we check the unit counting station, he's got 1 Baneling, 3 Zerglings, and 7 Mutas. So now it looks like Murder going to be pulling back here. I'm not really sure why he's doing so, but he needs to push in and try to maximize this this advantage he's got.
Yeah, I think he's actually trying to go back home and trying to clean up the rest of those Mutalisks now. Double training Vikings. There is a missile turret now finally in the natural or in the main starting location as the medevacs are healing, or more medevacs need to be trained up to try to heal the rest of these Marauders and the Marines as they come home. Another expansion was placed down over here at the 4 o'clock position, the south starting location, as more barracks are being ramped up in terms of production. Murder oversaturating his natural expansion, so that's not going to be very helpful at all. But those barracks are going to act as a little bit of a wall and in trying to stop any ground of force coming back in. Mutalisks dancing back and forth. The Marines now trying to give chase, but unable to catch up to those Mutalisks, as those Mutalisks can fly around pretty easily.
Yeah, 17 workers killed for Kengyn, as now he's pushing in here with Banelings and Zerglings, going to be taking down the bunkers at the front door along with the Mutas, a very powerful combination. The Banelings making their way and getting huge kills on those Marines, and now the Mutas will be able to just have their way. Not too many Marines. The Mutas just so very mobile here, abusing the fact that Murder has to go up and down that ramp, and I love that attack by Kengyn.
Yeah, Kengyn now just going to try to just continue to get more and more mileage, but Marines able to flock around. It looks like Kengyn going to battle off against the rest of those Marines there, as the Marines now trying to walk up the ramp once more using that stim pack, but it's still dealing damage as the for some reason a Marauder leading the way against a Mutalisk. Never a good sight there at all.
Yeah, so we do see Kengyn getting this third. If he's able to get that saturated, he could kind of come back in this game. I feel at this point he's behind. He did kill a ton of SCVs, but Murder's very strong. He's got a lot of production structure still. He's got 4 racks in his main. He's got a quarter of the way done command center if he wants to expand, and he does have up the starport tech. He's got actually 3 extra barracks in his natural, so running off a ton of racks. As Kengyn poking here once again with the Mutalisks, going to try to focus down the command center. It is canceled by Murder, but I think that Kengyn's a little bit behind unless he can get his economy up and running. It's 53 harvesters to 48, but the Mule's making a huge difference for Murder at the moment.
Yeah, I actually think that Kengyn probably has the more psychological advantage at this time. He does have level 1 weapons upgrade on those Mutalisks as well, so they are able to harass pretty easily. The Marines do also have the upgrades, but the Mutalisks with their just high mobility are able to go after target, but accidentally flying over an army of Marines, and now once again in full retreat. Zerglings and Banelings trying to find their target once more, and without any infestors to try to stop those Marines, and it doesn't look very successful at all. Those Marines are just getting melted away. Are the Marines going to be able to find their target? Once again, just picking apart, and very nice Marine splits, as the Mutalisk now going to finish off. Another Baneling coming in, but unable to detonate on any Marines at all.
Yeah, much better Marine micro by Murder that time. He was able to really reduce the amount of damage the Banelings were able to do. They still got a few good shots off, but this is going to give Murder time to get up these missile turrets. And now I'm not really sure what the follow-up for Kengyn is. He's got Mutas, Banelings, and Zerglings, but they're not going to be able to take on this ramp with the bunkers. They're not going to be able to take on the main with all these missile turrets, as they are about to finish just the 3rd missile turret on that right-hand side. So if Murder's able to expand here, get up a 3rd, he could have a very strong economy and just push out with a huge bioforce with good micro, take down any sort of Baneling, Zergling, and Mutaforce.
Yeah, the problem right now for Murder is that he is supply locked at 97 over 97. He just did a call down in order to try to catch up and building as many supply depots as possible, but he is still behind in terms of food. Kengyn could probably perhaps try to macro up. He is taking up that what will now be his 3rd base, as he's nearly mined out at his main home base. So it's going to be 3 sets of mineral patches, 24 mineral patches compared to 16, but Murder is still able to mine off decently pretty much at home, as his mining was stopped for quite some time. We do see double engineering bays with an armory coming in, so we are going to have 2-2 and perhaps 3-3 Marines and Marauders in just a moment.
Yeah, Murder able to get on this planetary fortress, or hoping to, as Marines shooing away these Mutalisks here, and a few missile turrets going down. Once these missile turrets are made and this planetary fortress is converted here, he's going to be very strong with 3 bases, pretty easy to defend with all these missile turrets. And the army of Kenjyn at the moment, pretty throwaway. He's got Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutas, and not a lot of any of those. So he needs to get up either some sort of infestor tech, as we see a drop into the main of Kenjyn, trying to focus down the Roachhorn there. Looks like he took down a few workers as well. But I really don't like the army combination that Kenjyn has at the moment. He's going to need a huge supply advantage to take advantage.
Yeah, that was actually a 2-pronged drop. He dropped into the main base and dropped into the 5 o'clock expansion, but Banelings were there to handle that drop on the south side, and it looks like enough units were actually forced back over here on the north side. But we are seeing an infestation pit, and that's exactly what we needed to see from Kenjyn. With so much reliance on Marines, fungal growth with Banelings is exactly what you need to do in order to keep those Marines tightly together for that acid to maximize that damage. We are seeing a Baneling bomb in the center of the map, and there it goes. And so many Marines just absolutely destroyed there, but Murder still pressing his advantage while he can.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, taking down a lot of Marines there, and the Terran player wants to push out. He's feeling good. He's got his Marine count. He's got his medevac count, and then suddenly there go half his Marines, and now he's going to be a lot more timid with that force. But we do see that Murder has added tanks, very strong in this matchup, especially given the unit comp that Kenjyn has. The tank's going to do huge damage against the Banelings and against the Marines. We see another Baneling bomb set up here, so we'll see if he gets that one off.
And here we go, instead, just rushing in with mass Zerglings and Banelings. The Banelings may be able to find their target, and the Mutalisk now going after the medevacs instead, and so many Banelings finding their target. Too many Marines to do a proper Marine split. And I believe this Marine attack force is going to get cleaned up rather easily, as the Mutalisk once again retreating to live and fight another day.
Yeah, the Marines coming out 12 at a time, tanks 2 at a time. He's already got out 26 Marines, so Murder's just going to be able to continue to push across the field over and over again, and having to remake all those Zerglings and all those Banelings using a ton of larvae, not very strong units. And again, even if you win an encounter like that, and I think that was a pretty clear win for Kenjyn, you can't counterattack because your entire army just disappears.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to get a lot of Banelings trying to hatch out their way right now. Siege tank now trying to come in, and it looks like the Zerglings are going to try to swarm, but oh, the Mutalisk picking off, Marines picking off Mutalisk after Mutalisk, and that was a very nice encounter for Murder. Murder able to just keep up with his army the whole entire time, and keep up with production, and it's going to become a war of attrition, and I think Murder just having a slight advantage at this point.
Yeah, we just see a tank picked off there. Nice play by Kenjyn. Now pushing in here. He knows no tanks are in position. A few of them sieging up in the back. And now, once again, losing control of this Mutalisk, losing 6 or 7 of them to that Marine ball. And Kenjyn does not have good creep spread here. So those Banelings could move even faster if they did have creep to move on. Instead, going to try to take on the Marines here off of creep. Now luring the Marines onto creep, or hoping to, as we see more and more Banelings coming in here for Kenjyn. He did just finish his Hive Tech, so we'll see what he chooses to go for here.
Yeah, with Hive Tech you have 2 options. It's either Broodlords or Greater Spire or Ultralisk, but I can't see any of them really being the proper choice at this point. Perhaps he just wants to go for higher upgrades, but this is going to be a little bit of a difficult maneuver, as Murder, for some reason, sacrificing a medevac for no real reason at all.
Yeah, now we see Banelings moving here. They're going to get some good damage. Oh, not really committing to that. Taking a few shots from the siege tanks instead. Knew that those Banelings probably going to go down. Should have just kept going there and taken down all those Marines.
Yeah, as a group of Marines now going after Kenjyn, and it's going to take down the 3rd base and perhaps the 4th as well, as Marines and Banelings are splitting up. So there's a 2-prong attack into the main line here. The Banelings are finding their target, but it looks like a lot of the Marines were able to simply clear off 1 hatchery and even more drones in just a moment, and this is not looking good at all. Kenjyn losing half of, or about a 3rd of his drones already. Marines now trying to come in. Fungal growth did hit them. Drones are now trying to surround as well, as the Marines are finishing off drone after drone, and the worker count and worker kill is just too high, and there's the GG.